apologize for how brief the resolution was on this. I got this on Friday afternoon, so just tried to throw something together so you'd have something to look at. Which then I had to give it to Betty in time so she could get it on the agenda. We received another NPDES grant, which is National Pollution Discharge Elimination System grant for $50,000. We received one last year. And this grant, we can use this money for training, education for staff and also public. We can also use it for street sweeping, repairs to different things that are involved with stormwater, different repairs to some of our stormwater system depending on the type of repairs we're doing. Also purchase of updated equipment, such as this last year we purchased a camera that we could video the sewer and storm, not the water, but city and the sewer and storm, and it paid for half of that. So that's what the money's, what we get it for, or what they gave it to us for. So my thought is that any time we get money and it doesn't cost us anything, it's a good thing.
Questions from council? Okay.
So this is like a pass-through formula grant. It's not one that we went out and applied for.
No, it's a pass-through.
Okay. So maybe what did we say we were spending
Trent?
How much administrative work is it going to take on the back end to report back on what we've done money?
What did we take on the last one, Betty? About 3-4 hours in total. Yeah, there's not a lot. It's mainly just invoicing back to the grant.
Do you have any particular expenditures planned already for this? Or?
Well, I wasn't expecting to get it, so no. But I can sure come up with some.
Very valuable, I'm sure.
Council's pleasure? Okay, meeting minutes. Caught up.
Okay, the reason I had this put on the agenda is, as you know, we have several council meetings that the minutes need to be caught up and recorded or council approved. And so doing some research, there's some companies that we could have come out and listen to our tapes and record them verbatim, and that would cost us about $30 an hour. Or in the investigation that I did with MRSD is they recommend that we do action-only minutes. And then, so what we would do is go through and listen, and there is a citizen, and I have her resume here if you need that background. I'm basically looking for approval from council to pay somebody $15 an hour to come in and take the notes that council's already taken, listen to the tapes, and produce action-only minutes for council to approve so that our minutes can be caught up. So that's what I'm thinking about.
Questions from council? Ben?
Have you talked to anybody about
Yes, we're okay. It's just a short term. I'm thinking, we're looking at how many hours it takes if somebody has to listen to us going over, but I'm thinking the most is going to be 40 hours a week, the most a month. I'm hoping not more than, I'm thinking 2 weeks, but just to get it, because there may be some question when they're listening to the tape who this person is. They may have to make a note, may have to come in and verify who's speaking or what's being said in case it's not in the note. So, but I'm thinking, just authorizing somebody like at a month at 40 hours, about 160 hours.
Gary?
Yeah, the action only, verbatim minutes are no longer minutes, those are hours.
I like that.
Question for me is, how far back are we talking date-wise?
I think we're all the way back to March.
Oh my goodness. Of this year?
Yeah, I have a folder that I've saved on mine. Every time you've sent minutes or Josh has sent minutes, I've thrown them in a folder, and I have all these that I could just print them out and let them listen and just go from, so that way they're not hearsay, because that was the other problem that we would have. It would have to be verbatim, or it would be considered hearsay, or they can listen to it and do an action only, and that keeps us well within compliance.
Because I have a lot of workshop and council meeting minutes, my input hearing of what was going on during the meeting, including references to who the council member was, that motion, approved, second. I could provide all that information just as for FYI.
I think that would be awesome. I think it'd be very helpful moving forward.
So if you could let me know about how far, where you want, what date.
I'll have to look and see when our last approved minutes.
Yeah, and then I can forward all that.
That would be awesome.
I will forward that to you.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay?
Just I guess a technicality, you may not be able to do 40 hours a week because they use Wednesdays for court here.
I was just guessing like a time, like how much time it would, I don't know how much time it would take listening to a meeting. If you're listening to a 3-hour meeting, you know, and only takes. I was basically looking for some guidance from council on a minute, you know, or how much I could spend. And you're right, because they'll have to do it in here, listening to the tape and, you know, recording off of that. So they would be able to do it on court days and stuff like that. And it would just kind of, so I'm asking for maybe 160 hours or 200 hours before I have to come back and ask for more permission from council to get it finished. How's that, if we put it like that?
So, along those same lines, I wonder if the process to do it is to do a contract rather than hire the person for what sounds like not a union issue, but I also wonder, our budget doesn't have authorized positions for something like this.
Correct.
So if we did like a professional services contract with that person.
Then we're into where we're going back to this agency where we're probably paying $30 an hour because they have their own insurance, own bond. This person wouldn't have that type of.
The insurance and
Right,
stuff.
right. And so that's why I thought if we brought them in as a temporary employee, then they would be covered by the city's insurance. And
Okay, yeah.
that's why I was looking at it that way.
Well, you know what, when we hire the seasonal workers for parks, those aren't positions authorized in the budget, right? Those aren't authorized FTEs, we authorize them outside the budget.
Yeah, but they do have to join the union,
And you have to advertise them.
and they have to be advertised.
Seems to me this would be someone filling in the duties of the clerk, which is,
Authorized.
an authorized position, as long as we get this done before we have a new permanent clerk. I think we have an FTE position available. Yeah.
That's true, too. And I could just kind of forward it under.
So maybe you do, I mean, I would imagine that there's no problem on council project to get the minutes caught up. But like Josh's point, this is a city clerk function, and we've got budgeted city clerk funds and city clerk FTE. Maybe you do a resolution that kind of notes, we haven't adopted or approved any minutes, and such and such, that gives John the date that he's looking for. And then also you can put in a piece in there that, council authorizes action on the minutes during a time frame, because of the need to actually get the minutes done, and then, request that you move forward with, however you want to do it, whether it's a contract or whether, you hire a part-time person and taking advantage of the city clerk authorization funding already.
Okay.
That might get you a framework that
Okay.
you can hit all three of those in one resolution.
I appreciate that. I wasn't sure how to attack this, but it's like on my to-do list, you have to get this done.
Yeah, and, something like a month worth of hours, I would maybe do it in hours, 160 hours, and then, some kind of a progress report to the council, after that point.
Okay.
So we can.
I like that.
I would suggest that we get maybe a little legal advice as how to word the pay on this, because we want to make sure that we can't revert back to the pay scale that's set in for the city clerk position.
Right.
We could have ghosts come out of the closet down the road.
Yeah, good point.
Could I see a staff comment?
I had a question. Was that part-time position authorized right before Patty left?
It was.
Was.
There was a contract.
would that be able to, you might be able to put someone into that?
And the business
broad
license
enough.
and everything else. We just want minutes caught up.
Me too.
Any further discussion from council? Next item on the agenda, council appointments.
So I guess, I'll just make a comment on this. It's not in your packet, it was sent from your packet. Betty did make hard copies if you wanted, but they were sent to you. There's 5 applications for people that have put in an application for the council appointment. I thought what we would do with council's pleasure is maybe council make a recommendation of their top 3 picks, maybe email it to me. And if you each individually do that, I'll take the top 3 and send back to council, and also notify those top 3 people to be here for interviews at next Monday's meeting.
Would that constitute us doing a preliminary vote by email and via serial quorum
So
outside
you
the
want,
meeting?
how do you pick the top 3, I guess?
I think we have to do that in public session.
Oh, you did, okay. So I was trying to John and I were having a conversation on how can we do this, and it sounded like a good idea, but I guess that's true.
That would be like
I guess that's true, yeah.
Couldn't we ask the mayor to make 3 recommendations to us?
That's what I thought originally was
Yeah.
said, but I was told it was not made that way.
That's what I thought it was.
That's what I thought it was
That
too.
we asked you to
I was totally wrong.
solicit applications and then come back with your recommendation of the top 3 and why. Give us everybody, but your recommendation is the top 3, and then we can decide, yeah, let's interview the 3 that the mayor recommended, or we think those are terrible recommendations, we want to do that.
That was my original understanding, but I was told that wasn't right. So,
That was my recommendation to the mayor, is that she give us all of them, and then she give us an input as to which of the 3 she felt were the best applicants. And we did not necessarily have to agree with that.
Right.
But that we would get that, the input from the mayor on that.
Yes.
Well, I remember, I wasn't here last week, but the last workshop we had, that came up, and because there's no official job description, and there's only very few qualifications to be a council member, we felt that it was up to the council to kind of decide who the top 3 was. And I think that's where the emailing piece came in, rather than having Leanne pick it. So, I mean, we have all these from last week. We've hopefully had a chance to review them. Do you want to discuss now? If there's only 6, I mean, would we rather just interview all 6 and then go to the executive session and decide, what the next steps are?
I would say if we don't have specific nominations, if we bring all 6 of them forward, there is a selection process available to us, and that we don't have to consider anyone that no member of council moves to consider that person. So if, say we look at all 6 of them, and there's one clear favorite, someone moves to approve that person, if nobody else objects to that motion and we vote on it, we appoint that one person. So there's nothing that says we have to have an extended public discussion of all 6 people simply because we get all 6 appointees brought to us. Other council discussion? James?
So if anybody remembers, Leanne and I were on the other end of it. The last appointment to a council vacancy was when the council passed up the best. I don't remember, Leanne, were there more than 3 applicants?
I think in 2009 there were 3 applicants, and all 3 of us were interviewed. Yeah.
You know, kidding.
No, I know I was the best.
So would would it be the pleasure of council to bring all of them to us with a recommendation from the mayor on which she prefers?
Good to me.
That was my suggestion.
I guess we'll move forward with that. Park board appointment. We have vacancy on the park board to consider.
Are you gonna ask all
Well, that's, I guess I was a little unclear on what you're speaking to, I'll take some of the top. It's gonna be a long night next Monday, we have 2 public hearings to keep in mind. No, we're staff, I was unclear on what council was deciding if she wanted to.
Have you got a chance to review them and pick a top 3? Or have you given that consideration?
Yes
We can
and no.
take 5 minutes now.
You know, I could say it.
Has the council pleasure to ever pick the top 3, her top 3, we can have a discussion on if we agree with them and if that's the, if that's.
If that's council's pleasure, but then is that making a decision?
Yeah.
And you can't really do that tonight,
No,
right?
it's not really making a decision, it's narrowing the field a little bit.
Is that,
But I
is that
think
taking
that
action?
I think that is a
That's a decision.
That would be taking action.
So, how about this, like, there are only,
Right.
it's not like there are 16. I think it's an important enough position that it may make for a long Tuesday.
Do you make them 5 minutes?
Yeah.
5 minutes, times 15?
Yeah, that, you know, we asked the mayor to invite all 6 to the council meeting. We asked the mayor to give us her recommendation of top 3. And maybe maybe we don't ask the mayor for a recommendation. We bring them all 6, bring in all 6 of them, we give them 3 or 5 minutes to start, 2 minutes, 3 minutes,
Whatever.
and then we go to executive session, and we can discuss the qualifications based on their applications and what we hear from them. And then if we want to do more interviews, say, hey, you know what, I move that we invite these 3 or these 2 or this 1 or these 5 back for a more extensive interview that same night and give them 10 minutes. We ask them questions and, give ourselves the opportunity to work through it. It may take tonight, or we may say, you know what, we've heard enough, we want to, we'll make a motion to invite these 3 back at the next council meeting for actual appointment. We don't have to make the appointment next week. We can, but we don't have to.
You more comfortable with that other council discussion?
You're right, and we only need one of the executive session. We'll cover all the different.
I like it. I'll call them all, invite them to the next meeting.
Okay, now on to park board appointment.
You have them in the packet. There were 2 people, we have 2 vacancies, and you got a separate email, because it has their resume and it didn't have the public.
There's 2 vacancies,
There's 2 park board
and
vacancies.
there's 3 applications. And typically, the mayor just brings a recommendation. So if there's 3 applications to 2 positions.
One of them.
So
Yeah, one of them.
Or,
says-
but it has park also.
Right. So here's my question, also to council, is we could not find it anywhere, that's why the 3rd one's in here. The length of time somebody needs to live in the city, you could not see it in the ordinance or in the job description. The length of time somebody needs to live in the city to sit on one of those committees.
I thought that only applied to civil servants.
And I just wanted to make sure.
Well, yeah, council, but I mean, as far as the point.
Because one of the persons that was interested only lived here in the city for 3 months.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure, I couldn't.
I remember when I was on it.
I was first invited to planning before I joined the township.
I was glad to be here 3 years before I could be on the phone.
That's you.
Personal.
What you guys do.
You know, how many vacancies do we have for each of these?
There's 2 on the park board, and a youth position on the park board that will be vacant in September, that will come up. There's 1 youth position available on the planning commission, and there's a civil service vacancy. None of these have applied for civil.
But otherwise, planning is full at the moment.
Planning is full at the moment, except for the youth position.
So do you want to bring 2 of these names to the meeting next week?
I will do that. I'll bring 2.
Any further council discussion? All right, next on the agenda,